That's quite clever. Her husband is who apparently they get separated, and she's in a lesbian relationship as soon as they're separated. When she gets kicked out of office, she's got nothing to do with it, even though she was the leader of the party. She's living with the chairman of the party, and she knew nothing about it. She didn't have to sign off on anything, and the police did a thorough investigation under Operation Branchford that's lasted 3 years, and they haven't brought forward any formal prosecutions. So we've now got on to Operation Copa, which I'm equally expecting the police to be doing their fantastic best at actually investigating politicians. This one's even more serious than the last one, where there was do not resuscitate orders going on the people who were during COVID. They were ventilating them, and they were just being ordered. It wasn't. It was through the government. So the state was actually telling people or telling the medical practitioners who to resuscitate and who not to obviously boost their figures, so that vaccinations were given, and people were obviously injured through these vaccinations, and they've obviously got things floating about their body just now because of this. And this was, I believe that this was deliberately inflated, because the state, because obviously the SNP are shills for the globalists. This was done to allow people and scare the populace to actually get mass vaccinations, which they probably didn't need to do. And that was deliberately done. So they deliberately didn't resuscitate people, allegedly, to allow people to die, to inflate the death figures, where the state was involved in non-resuscitation orders, which is culpable homicide on a mass scale. Yeah, I'm sure the police are going to do as sterling a job as they did in Operation Branchford, and get the same results after 3 years. Nobody's guilty. Nobody did nothing. It was a big boy who ran away and didn't do nothing. So we've got wee Nippy again, the wee tranny lesbian poison dwarf. Not only the £600,000 went missing, didn't do nothing. Not only the Hamilton report, heavily redacted, didn't do nothing. Now we've got Operation Copa, where non-resuscitation orders were coming from the state, whether it's her or her ministers, it's really irrelevant. If she didn't know what the ministers were doing by sending out non-resuscitation orders, then she should have been held culpably negligent. If she did know, then she's obviously complicit. Yeah, the police doing a fantastic job of actually burying this, as they have done with Operation Branchford. Is just another shining example of what we've got is a Stasi, not a police force. They can't investigate it. This is very serious. This is much more serious. This means that under Nippy, under the SNP, the state was murdering its own people. Oh, I wish the SNP, I'll come on to the thinkery later, I wish the SNP weren't called the SNP. Oh, it's really problematic that it says nationalist. We all know that filthy socialist scum always murder more than anybody else. Always, the Marxists were the first one to call for genocide of their own people. That's what the left do. Which wee Nippy is definitely a wee tranny postmodernist Marxist. And she must have been behind. Or either she was culpably negligent and she didn't know what her ministers were doing, or she was complicit in the actual pyramid of power. I can't see how she wasn't complicit. She wanted the populace to get vaccinated. And don't forget the WEF and the globalists want to reduce world population. That's their raison d'etre. So and she's on board with that. And the media are obviously complicit as well, because there's only a very few outlets that are actually independent. So whether or not we're going to hear much of, I think it's Operation Copa. I might have to change that. It might be something else. But this is the investigation into Nicola Sturgeon murdering her own people by through our health minister giving non-resuscitation orders to doctors in the NHS to prevent them from resuscitating people who might have COVID or whatever, to boost the figures allegedly, to make people get inoculated by the vaccine. No, mate. So, yeah. Wish people stop talking to me when I'm podcasting. So, that's basically it. So we've got another one. So Nippy could be going to jail for a number of years. If she doesn't go, she's obviously done a swerve on branch form, and she's not been held accountable for that. But she may still go to jail for multiple homicides or culpable homicide for what she did in office by giving these non-resuscitation orders to the doctors through her health minister. Unbelievable. My baby gorillas.